Begin with the most nostalgic monster ever, I guess, besides the blue eyes, 2 Dark Magicians, because it's a requirement for the Dark Paladin, and also a requirement 2 Buster Bladers. Yes, of course. Then 1 Black Luster Soldier Envoy of the beginning. Of course, you have to run it, goes into every gold format deck. 3 times the skilled Dark Magician, just as a beta and for the possibility to special our Dark Magician from the hand, deck or graveyard. Same thing with the skilled White Magician, same effect as the skilled Dog, just can only just special with the White Magician, the Buster Blader, and with the Dark Magician, the Dark Magician. Anyway, then continue with 2 Magician of Fate. Not Fate, Faith, glaube ich. 2 Night Assailant. These, if you have the right hand, you have infinite spell negates with 2 Night Assailant in your hand. 2 Gravekeeper Spy, just to stall a little bit. 1 Sinister Serpent. 1 Exiled Force. 1 DD Warrior Lady. 1 Zangan. 1 Breaker, all the one-offs. 1 SiCaTra. And lastly, last 2 monsters, 2 King of the Swamp to search our poly and as a fusion material, obviously. That's it for the monsters. Spells, 2 Upstart Goblins, as the spell, so our skilled White and skilled Dark Magician gets a counter to draw a card, obviously. 2 Fusion Gates to fusion summon our monsters more easily. 2 Noblemen of Crossout, well, I guess this card speaks for itself. Then 2 Dimension Fusions, I know this is sadly expensive. Alternatively, you can play the Return from a Different Dimension, okay. Also works, but it's a trap, so it has to live at least 1 turn, and Dimension Fusion can be activated right away. Downside is, if you play against Chaos decks, you should consider if you play it or not. You definitely should side it out then for Return from a Different Dimension, where you only special summon your monsters. But for 1 turn kill, for OTK, Dimension Fusion is better. Depends what your matchup is, really. Then the usual stuff, 1 Heavy Storm, 1 Premature Burial, 1 Pot of Greed. What does it do? Oh my god. 1 Mystical Space Typhoon. 1 Snatch Seeder. 1 Polymerization. Wow. And 1 Graceful Charity. That's for the spells. Traps. Yeah. Only 3 traps. What a surprise. 3 times the Royal Decree. Because we don't like traps in this deck. You can also play Chinsu if you want to. 3 times Royal Decree. That's why I didn't play Return from a Different Dimension. Yeah, because you need that as a protection, basically. So, Ixo deck. Well, what a surprise. What would be an Ixo deck? There would be 1 Dark Paladin, 2 Dark Paladins, 3 Dark Paladins. Okay, 3 times Dark Paladin. Yeah, it's a Dark Paladin deck. What did you expect? Some 1000 Eyes Restrict or what? Anyway. For the side deck, 1 Shinzo, as I mentioned earlier. 2 Mystical Swordsman or Mystic Swordsman level 2 for the annoying face down cards. 2 Möbius, the Ice Monarch, Frost Monarch, I don't know. I'm always not sure about the correct English translation. 1 Sarborg, the Thunder Monarch thing. Then Back Row Hate, 3 times Giant Runade. Then some cards, it's not your monster, it's our monster. Communism alert. 3 times Mind Control, it's our monster. And 3 times Brain Control. Yes, give me that. Just to steal all the stuff and tribute it away for the, except of course with Brain Control, not with Mind Control. You cannot tribute your monsters stolen with Mind Control, but you can trigger their effects or just clear the board. To tribute the monsters stolen from your opponent away for the Möbius or the Sarborg or the Jinzo, whatever. Yeah, that's it for this version of the deck. You can obviously modify it any way you want it and any way you like it. Yes, that's what she said. You can go more into fusion plays with Metamorphosis, for example, or you can throw in some Thunder Dragons and then even can make the twin-headed Thunder Dragon via Poly or the Fusion Gate or whatever, you know. There are different options then. You can go more in the Buster Blader way, you know, with add in some dragons and boost it up, and maybe with DNA transplantation or something like that. However, yeah, and the infinite spell negate, what I was talking about earlier, was with the 2 Night Assailants. You are probably familiar with that. Night Assailant, Dark Paladin says you have to discard. If a spell card is activated, you can discard a card and then negate the activation of the spell card. And Night Assailant says if it gets discarded, you can add back to your hand 1 flip effect monster. And if you have 2 Night Assailants on your hand and your opponent places a spell, you negate that. Discard Night Assailant, then your opponent activates another spell, then you again negate that. Discard Night Assailant and add back to your hand the other Night Assailant which you discarded earlier, and then you know he activates another spell, then you discard again the Night Assailant and you add back to your hand the another Night Assailant, and that's infinite spell negates. Of course, only as long as this card is on the field. You know, if he normal summons Exile Force and he pops it, then you are doomed. Anyway, yeah, consider this as a fun deck. Obviously, it's Dark Paladin, but it's a badass fun deck. So try it out, really fun. I'm not too much focused on getting out the Dark Paladin. You know, this deck can also win with other options. Most decks I saw focusing too much on cheating out the Dark Paladin as fast as possible, and then just get fucked in the next turn by a DD Warrior Lady or whatever. So, you know, a little bit more, you know, durable, I would say. Anyway, I'm talking too much. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.